The world has lost its mind. Everything is like upside down, inside out. Nothing makes sense anymore. And to prove that, last week, not once, but twice in 1 week, Nancy Pelosi said things that made sense. I know, crazy, right? But like I said, the world has lost its mind. And it's just more proof of it. How else can you explain Nancy Pelosi making sense? Twice in 1 week. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi released a statement Tuesday night, this is last Tuesday, condemning violence by members of the anti-fascist movement Antifa during protests in Berkeley last weekend. So there was a Trump rally, maybe a couple of dozen Trump supporters show up, and like an army of Antifa show up, and they surround people, they gang up on people, they beat people with sticks, they kick them while they're on the ground. Pure mayhem. Our democracy has no room for inciting violence or endangering the public, no matter the ideology of those who commit such acts. Pelosi, who represents San Francisco, said in the statement, the violent actions of the people calling themselves Antifa in Berkeley this weekend deserve unequivocal condemnation, and the perpetrators should be arrested and prosecuted. I can't disagree with Nancy Pelosi. What's going on in this world? I told you, it's a mad, mad world. When I gotta give props to Nancy Pelosi for making sense, in California, as across all our great nation, we have deep reverence for the constitutional right to peaceful dissent and free speech, Pelosi said. Nonviolence is fundamental to that right. Let us use this sad event to reaffirm that we must never fight hate with hate, and to remember the values of peace, openness, and justice that represent the best of America. So yes, Nancy Pelosi had to come out and condemn the violence of Antifa. Now, you would think that this is just common sense for politicians to condemn violent masked thugs, domestic terrorists, from smashing windows, from attacking people, from burning things down, from stopping free speech. But no, this is actually rare. It's so rare that not only do the Democrats not do it, not only does the liberal media not do it, but Republicans don't do it. Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, John McCain, maybe Lindsey Graham, probably, I'm not sure, so don't quote me, Marco Rubio, a handful of others, probably John Kasich. But Nancy Pelosi made some sense. She actually got something right. Now, okay, maybe it's political posturing. She's going to be running for re-election in 2018. Maybe she's trying to get the voters who are on the liberal side but still have a bit of common sense left, haven't gone completely into the loony bin of the left. Maybe she's trying to get their votes. I don't know. But either way, she made sense. She did something. She put out an official statement condemning them. So regardless, that's a pretty big move, and it sets the standards. Now, a lot of those, I know Paul Ryan came out shortly after and actually condemned the violence. You know, people are like, well, you know, now that I think about it, maybe it's just a little bit too violent. It always takes that one, nobody's got the balls to do it themselves. So here comes Nancy Pelosi. She does it. So some Republicans do it. Some media people do it. Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, they denounce Antifa. But, not surprisingly, she gets blowback from the left. Others on the left, however, criticized Pelosi for her statement. Stephen Jaffe, who's running a long-shot primary challenge against the 30-year incumbent Nancy Pelosi, said she should focus on impeaching Donald Trump, not attacking Antifa. The sacred, useful idiots of the left. You can't attack them by calling them violent socialist anarchists. She called them socialist anarchists as well. But people on the left think it's bad to attack Antifa, those little sweet angels, those little masked angels with sticks who smash windows and burn things down. You can't attack them. They're useful idiots of the left. But gotta give credit where credit's due, and Nancy, this one's for you. So that's just one, ding, 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 one action where Nancy Pelosi actually made sense in the world. Mind blown. What's this world coming to when Nancy Pelosi makes sense? Wow. So remember, this was last Tuesday. Riding on this high of common sense, the day after, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said on Wednesday that American voters elected Donald Trump and they don't want to hear the Democrats criticizing him, which disrespects their decision. Yes, that's how the government works, Nancy Pelosi. Glad that you finally caught on. You can't just impeach someone because you don't like him. We voted for him. We put him in the office. You can't do nothing about that. If you don't like the guy, run against him in 2020. But you can't just impeach him. And it seems like Nancy Pelosi is the only person on the left to figure that out. Now, it took, 9 months, 8 months, whatever it was, but she finally figured it out. Now, this is kind of a two-parter of part 2. So she goes on, the voters, us deplorable voters, don't want to hear us criticizing the president, Pelosi said. This was a choice they made. Yes, that's right. Election day. And to criticize the president personally is to disrespect their judgment, Pelosi said. So I say to my members, this is about what we're going to do. Maybe she realized simply yelling impeach, yelling at Trump, being insane, trying to impeach him for nothing, and saying we're all crazy Nazis for voting for him. Maybe that's not the way to do things in government. Maybe that's not the way Democrats win elections. And maybe Nancy Pelosi, of all people, figured this out. Mind blown. Holy. Again, I gotta give it to you, Nancy, but it's not over yet. Like I said, this is a two-parter, so she was probably building up to saying that it's too early to judge Trump on the response to Tropical Storm Harvey. Now remember, this is last Wednesday before he went to Houston and handed out hot dogs and kissed little black babies, and everybody loved him. At least everybody on Twitter, and lots of people who maybe didn't like him before said they had a change of heart after meeting him, after seeing him. So this is before then. So she's saying that it's hard to judge him on his response to Tropical Storm Harvey. We haven't seen it. He's been gracious. He went to Corpus Christi, which is sort of appropriate for him to do, because in the heart of the storm, it would be a challenge to accommodate a president. Pelosi said, yes, you can't just fly Marine One in, drop off the president in the middle of, 50 inches of flood water, expect him to throw on a pair of galoshes and run into that flooded house and grab the old lady and throw him over his shoulders and swim out to the boat. That's why we have first responders. Police, fire, Cajun Navy, all the volunteers. It would be a logistical nightmare. the security, Secret Service, the safety of the president, of his aides, of, you know, all these people around. No, he goes to Corpus Christi. He goes to shelters. He condoles. He says things, comforts the people. He tells them, yes, the government's on it. Don't worry about it. FEMA's out there. We're handing out water. We're doing what we got to do. We're going to put money. We're going to do this. We're going to take care of you however long it takes. This is America. We all work together. We're all Americans. That's the job of the president. Obama doesn't go out there into the middle of floods and start, saving people. That's not how it works. And it looks like Nancy Pelosi understands it, because, obviously people on the left criticize Trump's actions. Of course, they're going to criticize him no matter what he does. Hell, some lefties said, oh, we're glad that, Harvey hit Texas. All them Trump voters, even though Houston is pretty much a Democrat city and probably voted for Hillary Clinton. You retards. But that's the left for you. But that's what makes this mind-blowing. In 1 week, 2 days in a row, a three-parter, like I said. There was A with the Antifa, and then part 2 and 3 where she realizes you can't just criticize Trump and the supporters, and you can't criticize his response to Harvey, because for what he could do, it's been pretty good. And we all know the outcome of it was great after Saturday. So yes, the world has absolutely gone batshit crazy when Nancy Pelosi is the one making sense. Nancy Pelosi, whether she's posturing politically, trying to gain some extra votes, she put out official statements, she said this stuff, she caused other people in government and in the media to have to change their statements officially on the record for people to hold them to. You gotta give credit where credit's due, and Nancy Pelosi, she gets it. 2 days in a row. Now, I don't expect this to be a trend of Nancy Pelosi's. I don't know what happened. Did a rock fall on her head and she got up, and after the stars and the birds were gone, she's had a moment of clarity where, she was able to say these things that actually made sense? Is that possible? Sure, anything's possible, I suppose. Did we enter the fifth dimension and we actually crossed over into the Twilight Zone? Seems more like that's the case, but I don't know. But either way, Nancy Pelosi, she had a good week last week. And while I never thought that I'd say I agree with her or I'd give her credit for anything, I can't help but have to give her my credit on this one. She earned it. She deserved it. Good on you, Nancy. So what do you think? Do you think it's all just a ploy, political? Do you think Nancy got bopped on the head with a big old wooden hammer and came to her senses? Or did we cross into the Twilight Zone? The mad, mad world where Nancy Pelosi is the one that's making sense. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please thumbs up. If you think it's good enough to share, whatever, share it. If you haven't done so yet, follow my channel, subscribe to me, and I am out of here. I'll see you next time.